It's time once again to make a collection pickups video about the things that I've added to my collection in the last month or two. And as a matter of fact, since I made the last collection pickups video, there has been Celebration Anaheim in California. So there have been some interesting items, exclusives to Celebration, that I've managed to pick up from various sources, and I'd like to show off to you today. The first of which is this item right here. Now this is the Geeky Tikis Max Rebo Band 4-pack. And I remember when they first announced the Max Rebo Geeky Tiki, which I've talked about on the channel before. In fact, I have it right here. I was a little bit disappointed that they just made it Max Rebo and didn't do the rest of the band. And also, if I'm honest, a little disappointed that they made the entire thing blue instead of having the organ be a different color, you know. But as it turns out, they did have this thing waiting in the wings. And unfortunately, it's a Celebration exclusive, as I mentioned, so it's kind of expensive if you were not at the show to get. Luckily, this time, I had someone who very kindly offered to help me get this. In fact, let me go ahead and give them a shout-out right now. David Fink and also Steve Quant kind of worked together, as I understand it, to get this for me. David Fink is Darth Dave 3 at various social media sites, and Steve is at Master Obi Quant. Thank you both for your help. I probably would have ended up paying like double if I hadn't been able to get it from you, so I really do appreciate that. Let's go ahead and open this up. This is, as I say, the entire Rebo band, although they are in mini muglet form as opposed to the full-sized Tiki, which is, I mean, I guess that's understandable. I believe this retailed for about 40 bucks, which is not terribly bad for a set of these 4 ceramic Tiki mugs. As you can see, we've got Max Rebo, his organ, Sice Noodles, and Droopy McCool, and we'll take a look at this in more detail in a little bit, but it's nice to see that they used the original Snoodles and not the sort of CGI version. So let's go ahead and open this up. We've got a little bit of an unusual package here in that they've got like these just cardboard pieces on top, just to kind of, I guess, keep these individual Tikis separated, but it's a little unusual. So if we open this up, we can see we've got Max here, and then his organ is a separate piece, so technically you could use these as 2 separate drinking vessels, I guess. I don't know how many people actually use these Tiki mugs for drinking out of. I don't think I ever actually have, even though I have a lot of these. But yeah, we can just take him and put him on top, and there you've got him on his organ. Perfect. Look at that. I'll set him aside for just a second and bring out Droopy McCool. Also nice. A little bit of a shame that they didn't maybe paint his flute a different color. That would have been nice, but looking good. And I guess, you know what, you could probably put any of these on the organ if you really wanted to. That's kind of funny. And finally, we have Miss Snooty herself, Sice Noodles, and they did at least paint her lips a different color, which is nice. Inside it's blue. I don't know if I mentioned this white over here, and also the organ, and then he's got brown inside. So yeah, let's go ahead and line these up and see what they look like all together. Alright, here they are. The band's together again at last. I really like these. The only thing I would say is I don't know why they made Sice Noodles basically green. I feel like this is a bit of a misfire. Maybe literally, you know, they fire the ceramics. I don't know, but she seems like she should be more of a yellow color. But aside from that, looking good. And I'm really always happy to get something for the entire band. It's kind of cool. In fact, you know, I'm a Jabba Focus collector, but I've also got everything for the Rebo band and Max Rebo himself. So I guess you could call me a Max Rebo collector as well. And as a matter of fact, that kind of brings us into our next item. I've been a fan of this Max Rebo minifigure for years, ever since they released it as part of the Sail Barge set back in 2013, I think. I just really think it's cute and captures the character pretty well. And if you're of the opinion that Max should not have legs, and in fact he's playing with his feet, which, you know, we'll talk more about that later in another video. In fact, I have talked about it in my Max Rebo Jabba's Palace roll call, which you can see up there. But if you're of that opinion, then you can even remove his legs and just have him kind of play like this. So it really does capture the character pretty well, I think. So anyway, as I said, I've been a fan of this figure for quite some time, so I was pretty excited when I saw that an Instagram account that I've been following for a while posted their own version of this character. Now, before I show you that, I should explain what I'm talking about. The account in question is called Maxifigures, and his thing, I guess you'd say, is making jumbo versions of Lego minifigures using 3D printing. And I really recommend that you go and take a look at his account, because very impressive stuff there. I'll just give you a quick overview here just to show you some of the things that he's posted recently, but these are all giant minifigures, roughly, I guess, 12 inches tall, I'm thinking, and perfectly recreated using 3D printing. Mostly they're printed in the color of the actual minifigure, you know, using filament that's the correct color, and then the details and stuff are painted on using stencils. So very impressive stuff. He does these largely on a commission basis, so it's not easy to get one of these. He's kind of booked out for the rest of the year, I think, and he tends to make these, as far as I understand it, kind of like just as one-off pieces. He's not cranking these out, you know, dozens at a time or anything like that. So it's really impressive, and it's kind of a special thing to be able to get one of these. And I contacted him when I saw that he had a Max Rebo version, and he apparently was aware of me and my channel, and kindly allowed me to get this from him. So allow me to go ahead and show it off to you today. Here is the jumbo Max Rebo figure, the maxi figure, if you will. It's very, very impressive in person. I mean, you can see just from my hand how big this is. But beyond the size, as someone who has done a lot of 3D printing in the last few years, I was extremely impressed with just how clean everything is here. It looks really, really nice. He's perfectly recreated the original minifigure, even down to the smallest detail, and they're both constructed in the same way. So if you wanted to, in fact, I've done this before, but I'm not going to do it on camera because it's a little fiddly. You can take off the legs just like I showed you. His arms are articulated, as are the hands. His head moves back and forth like this. You could take it off if you wanted to. Again, I'm not going to do it now, but very impressive stuff. And you can barely see any layer lines here from the 3D printing process. If you look at the top of his head here, you can see that there's some of this kind of stair-stepping that you often get at the top of a rounded piece when you're 3D printing it. And that's the only thing that you can really tell. I mean, I wouldn't call it an imperfection, that's just the way it is, but no other real problems at all. You can't even see where there would have been support material, really. So I'm pretty impressed with that. He's got his little maker's stamp there. I guess it'd be like this, right? There we go. Maxifigures. So, yeah, very, very impressed with this. And it just looks great just sitting there on the shelf. So, just thought I would show that off. This did take quite a while to arrive. It wasn't the fault of Maxifigures at all, but they're based in Australia, so even sending them express mail, as they did, it does take a fair amount of time to arrive to the US, but even after that, this got stuck in customs for 2.5 weeks. I don't know what they were doing or what they thought that he was sending me. I mean, I don't think they actually opened up the package or anything like that, but yeah, recently anything I've been getting from overseas has just been taking a really long time in customs, so that's a little unfortunate, but it did finally make it through, and I'm really glad that it did. go ahead and check out his Instagram account and give him a follow. Next up, we have a couple of plush dog toys from Barkbox. These were part of Barkbox's subscription box. They have various themed boxes for dog toys and treats and stuff like that. It's kind of an interesting idea. They had Star Wars, Stranger Things, Marvel, that kind of stuff, I guess. I don't have a dog right now. I love dogs, but I don't have a dog. So it didn't seem like a great idea for me to be subscribing to a monthly subscription box for dog treats or dog toys. And, you know, I did contact Barkbox on social media to see if I could maybe, like, purchase just these on their own. And at that point, they said it wasn't possible, although they acted like they might be releasing them, like, on their online store or something like that at some point. But that, as far as I know, has not happened, or it didn't happen while I was checking. But I just ended up getting these on eBay, and it wasn't really that bad of a deal. These are two different sizes, as you can probably tell. They have a extra small to small size, which is meant for 0 to 20-pound dogs. I mean, a 0-pound dog would be quite small, but and they have the medium to large, which is meant for 20-pound dogs and above. Now, these are both basically the same thing, just different sizes. They have crinkle material in them, which I guess dogs like the sound of, and they also have squeakers, as just about all these dog toys do. Let's see if I can get it. So if you've got dogs in the vicinity, they may be going crazy right now. I have just a crazy number of Jabba-themed dog toys, or pet toys in general. I maybe should make a dedicated video to just about that. Let me know if you're interested in that. But yeah, I was happy to get these, and they're pretty cute. Jabba drooling there. Interesting kind of bumpy textured cloth. It looks like something they might make like a pickle out of, you know, a plush pickle. But yeah, I thought these were pretty cool. This is a pin made by Nerd Matters in honor of Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. And, you know, one of the things I like about Celebration in general is that a lot of people will make swag of various kinds, whether it's a pin, sticker, patch, that kind of thing, and just give it away at the show. I think it's a really cool idea. I've never actually been to a celebration myself, or I would do that myself as well, but I just think it's very cool to see what other people create just to give away. But I will be showing off a few of those things right now. I can't remember if they actually gave this one away or if they only were selling this one, but Nerd Matters did create a number of things that they gave away at the show, and so did Fuzzball Flair, who is a UK-based person who creates, you know, various Star Wars pins like this one I've shown on the channel before. It says, "Live, Laugh, Poodoo." I've shown Nerd Matters before a couple of times at least. This was a Zero the Hutt pin. Very cool. But anyway, yeah, these two kind of teamed up, apparently, to create some stuff that they were giving away at Celebration, so I'd like to show those off today. The first is a series of pins that are inspired by the Smurfs. And I don't know, you know, maybe not everyone in the audience remembers the Smurfs, but I certainly watched the original animated show quite a bit as a kid, and they've decided to sort of combine Smurfs and Twi'leks in a very creative way to make the Twi'leks, and we have here Twi'let instead of, that sounds a little bad if you say it that way, Twi'let instead of Smurfette, of course, is Ula. Look at the back there. It says, yes, this pin is free for Star Wars Celebration attendees. Now, I did not, as I said, actually attend Celebration, but they did put up a very limited number of these up on their website at Nerd Matters, and I was lucky enough to get them. I set an alarm and everything just to make sure I could get some of these. So they have actually 4 of these Twi'lek pins. There's Papa Twi'lek, who's of course Papa Smurf, but he's inspired by Bib Fortuna there. They've got Hefty Twi'lek, who is, I think, inspired by that really buff Twi'lek we saw in Book of Boba Fett. And then we have Brainy Twi'lek, who I'm not entirely sure if this is meant to be a specific character. Forgive me if I am not recognizing this reference, but I mean, obviously it's Brainy Smurf, but not sure if it's a specific Twi'lek they're referring to here. Really like these pins, very well done. And then we also have, from Nerd Matters themselves, they had this set of acrylic pins that are Celebration themed. So we have Bib Fortuna here is Star Wars Celebration, or we have Wicket Celebration, like Yub Nub, and we have Snooty, Miss Snooty here, Star Wars Celebration, because she's Cy Snoodles, of course. Very clever stuff there. So yeah, I just was really happy to get these. There's a couple stickers that I also got. So check them out, both Nerd Matters and Fuzzball Flare on Instagram if you're interested in this kind of stuff. And speaking of pins, I've got one more item from Celebration that I wanted to show off, and that is this Jabba the Hutt incentive pin. This was, from what I understand anyway, part of the larger lineup of pins that they were selling at Celebration, but in order to get this one, you had to like buy X dollars worth of pins, and then they would give it to you, I think, for free. It's quite a large pin, probably, what, 3 inches tall, maybe? And I really like the artwork on here. It's got Salacious Crumb on there as well. Nicely drawn. Nice thick pin, of course, too. You can see on the back it says Jabba the Hutt Incentive Pin, although in some of the original publicity about this, they called it an inventive pin. It was a bit of a typo, but I guess it is kind of an inventive pin in some sense. So very cool, and definitely happy to get this. I ended up, I think, overpaying by a little bit, because you never know with these kind of limited exclusive things what the kind of, especially ones that are not even sold, what kind of price is going to end up being the sort of standard price that it goes for. And I think I paid a little bit too much, but not, it wasn't hugely expensive or anything like that. There are quite a few of these on eBay right now, because I guess a lot of people got them. But yeah, I'm happy to have this. And that's a pretty cool silvery card back that they have it on as well. A while back on the channel, I made a video about this Ephant Mon custom figure that's created by the Next 17. This is meant to look like what the character would look like if it had been made by Kenner back in the day. So it's, kind of the old simplified Kenner styling and so forth. This is an actual plastic figure made in a factory and not a 3D printed one or a resin one. So it's nice, nice feeling. You can tell that it's made of plastic, and just all around seems like high quality product. At the time, I kind of thought that was it, although I was interested to see what other characters they might come out with. But I recently was sent something that is kind of interesting. It is a couple of variants on this same character that they've made. So let me go ahead and show them to you right now. The first is this Desert Cloak version. Apparently, this was a possible version that they were going to use as the main kind of figure. They weren't sure which color of cloak to use, or I guess which color of staff. So they had both of them made up, and they liked the tan one well enough that they decided to make this in kind of a limited form. So this is available as a separate figure if you prefer the tan cloak. And they made a Sith version of Ephant Mon as well. So this one has a kind of a, I guess, a navy cloak and some different paintwork as well. And, I was like, huh, Sith, right, that seems kind of ridiculous. But now that I have it in hand, this looks really cool. Look at that. Look at those eyes. And, having, coming out with different versions or different variants of a popular figure is a pretty typical thing for this kind of you know, for this kind of figure, so it's not unusual. And honestly, now that I have these in hand, I'm pretty happy with them. I think they look really cool. These are currently available along, I think there's still, the original one is available as well, on the Next 17 website, which I'll link in the video description. If you're interested in that, they have like a whole set of them if you want, or you can still, I think, get them individually as well. In addition to these variants, though, they also, at the Next 17, are coming out with a full wave of other characters that they're making into figures. And in fact, they're taking pre-orders for them now, and they're about to close the pre-order process, as I understand it. So if you're interested in these, you might want to head on over there at the link in the video description and check them out. They're coming out with Ben Kenobi from the Death Star, so he's got his hood up, which is a pretty cool look. Or also, you know, when he was fighting Vader, that would be kind of the look to use. They've got a couple of Jabba's Palace characters. They have Jaquil, or Jaquil, I'm not sure how you're meant to pronounce that, honestly. One of the more obscure sort of Jabba's Palace characters, but definitely one that's cool to see in vintage form. They've got a baby Wampa, who would, I think, display really nicely with the Kenner original Wampa. They've got Tanis Speedjack, who is also a Jabba's Palace character, kind of a weird sloth-looking guy. We've got Master Luke, Jedi Master Luke, so in his Jedi robes. And then we've got Ben Kenobi in his Tatooine Arrival version, basically just with the hood down in this case, I guess. So those are, as I say, going up for pre-order now. The only catch is that you can't just buy one figure. You have to at least buy 2 or 3 at a time, or maybe the whole thing, the whole wave at one time. And that does allow them to sell them for a lower price per figure than Ephant Mon, but it is, you know, it's a fair amount of money, honestly, especially if you buy all of them, and then, you know, you have to factor in shipping from the Netherlands, where the Next 17 is based. So anyway, I just thought I would put that out there if anyone is interested. Next up, we have a piece of vintage artwork that I picked up on eBay for surprisingly little. This is original artwork made by George Carlton in 1984. I did a little research on George Carlton, and he is an artist who did a lot of work for fanzines, you know, like fan-made magazines in the 80s or even the 70s, I guess, Star Trek, Star Wars, that kind of thing. Very cool stuff. I found him on Facebook, actually, I think, but he didn't respond to my question about this, which is fine, but, you know, I did try and contact him. This, it's a little bit worse for wear. It's got some fading and yellowing to the piece itself, but it's very cool. It shows Jabba here, obviously, on the throne with C-3PO dressed as Leia, which I think is pretty hilarious. I don't think I've ever actually seen that. We've got a Jawa here fanning Jabba. We've got a crazy-looking, confused-looking Salacious Crumb. We have a leering Bib Fortuna talking to Jabba there. And the throne gargoyles are all Muppets for some reason, which I thought was pretty funny. And on the bottom we have the title, No Accounting for Taste. So I guess the idea is that, you know, this Jabba, he's, you know, for some reason he likes droids dressed up this way. Just kind of a funny little cartoon, but really nicely done. I don't know anything of the background of this. I'm assuming it probably did appear in a fanzine of some kind, just given what I know about Mr. Carlton, but I don't have a specific reference. If anybody does know, obviously feel free to let me know if you've seen this anywhere. But yeah, very, very cool. I like this style. Looks like something you might have seen in Mad Magazine or something like that back in the day. Oh, and you can see, if I turn it over here, how the marker has bled through and everything. So you can see that it's original. I mean, you can tell that it's the marker anyway is, but if you look at it, you can see also places where the ink is sort of hand done and everything. So it's definitely a piece of original artwork and not just a copy or something. So very cool. All right. Lastly, I realize this is not really related to Jabba per se, but it's something I got recently that I'm kind of excited about, and I wanted to show it off. If you're not interested, you can just stop watching at this point. There won't be anything more Star Wars related after this. But anyway, I've shown on the channel a few times, I'm kind of a casual collector of Japanese Sofubi figures, soft vinyl figures. This one is actually not Japanese, but it is Japanese inspired, made by a husband and wife team called Sagittarius. And they put out various kinds of soft vinyl figures like this. This one is called Mahou Gama, which basically means magic toad. So you can see, I mean, I guess there is a Jabba relation here because it's a toad and he's smoking a pipe. I wonder if there wasn't some sort of subconscious inspiration from Jabba there, but in any case, it's a very, very interesting figure. It's made of a transparent, soft vinyl. It's articulated. The pipe is a separate piece. And it's been painted, in this case, to look kind of like magma, I guess. Lava. He's got, Sagittarius, that is, has got various color variations of this figure that they've sold. I think this is the only version that they've made of this exact colorway, but they have lots of different things that react to UV light, things that glow in the dark, all kinds of stuff. But I just thought this was extremely cool. I like the transparent things, and yeah, just found this one strangely compelling. It also came with this bag and a header, so if you wanted to kind of display it in a bagged form, you could. This is the, let's see, the top of it there. You can see on the chest, it's got this sort of Japanese-inspired, I don't know what you'd call that, like an Oni face. And then on the back we have here, Mahou Gama, the Great Magic Toad, from Sagittarius.com. Check them out. I'll put link in the video description. This is Cosmo Gama 2022. But yeah, really impressed with this guy and happy I was able to get him. That's about it for today's collection pickups. This video was brought to you with the help of my patrons from Patreon, including these Palace VIPs and Angelica Brady. Thank you all very much for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to find out how you can support the channel for as little as $1 a month, you can check out the link in the video description. Thanks for watching.